Hey kids, it's time to get some SML podcast all up in that.
What's up, everybody? This is the SML podcast. I am your host, Joe.
Let me stop you right there. This is actually, we got a message from corporate. This is now the podcast experience.
Ah, son of a bitch.
Had to change the name right before the show. I know you've been going with this name for a long time, but you know.
What's my name now? Ivar. My name is Ivar.
Yeah, Ivar. Ivar is here.
Can I have a new name?
Sure. What do you want to be this week?
Fuck it, I don't know. Let's stick with Cole.
There we go.
I'm out of creativity. It's already after, like, I don't know. What time is it even? Where's my clock?
2 p.m.
It's 2.
2 p.m. Yeah. No, it's like 2:06 to be particular about it.
Oh, God.
So, yeah, my creativity, it was like, it ran out at 7 a.m.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, as you can tell, Tim Ekkebus is here. Tim, how's it going?
Hey, it's good. It's good.
Welcome to the podcast experience.
Yes, I've been waiting my whole life for this.
I gotta write that down. That's gonna be the episode title.
Freaking all the jokes this week about the stupid Viking experience.
Yeah, Lord knows when you're here, we got to talk a little bit of wrestling.
Yeah, so, can't avoid it.
It's just impossible to do that when you're here. So, WrestleMania, what was your record?
Give me that, buddy. Oh, it was god-awful. I actually wrote it down somewhere. Yeah. By the way, for those listening, my child is down here. Yeah, it's your mother. Let me see. Pages. I was just looking at it. Oh, I guess I didn't write it down. It was bad. Let's just say it was bad. Let's go with it was bad, but it's fine. I was pleasantly surprised with how many things happened at that show.
Mom.
I was 7 of 16.
I think that's pretty close to where I was.
I was 15 out of 16. Come at me, bro.
That's insane. Seems made up.
Maybe.
Yeah. Let's see. That was wrong.
I haven't watched wrestling a day in my life, so.
That was wrong. Yeah. It was all wrong.
You should watch wrestling. You could join us on a wrestling show sometime.
How am I supposed to watch wrestling when I got to spend all my time playing review games?
I had 8. Okay.
Oh, you had 8?
Yeah, but I think you had one over me on TakeOver, so yeah.
So we evened out pretty well.
Yes. Yeah, we did. Yeah, pleasant surprises of, like Rollins winning and the Iconics winning and
Kofi Mania.
Yeah, Kofi Mania ran wild. That was the best part of the whole show. That is, when you talk about WrestleMania moments, that's what they're actually talking about right there, is Kofi winning. That was the whole show right there.
It really was.
Yeah.
Second favorite moment, Doctor of Thugonomics.
That was also pretty great.
That was incredible to see John Cena come out and do that again.
So I didn't realize he still did wrestling.
Not frequently, but it was WrestleMania, so he made a special appearance.
Every time I hear John Cena, I think of that meme that goes around on Facebook where he's like, I guess he was on Saturday Night Live or something, and he had a wig and like a flower in his hair, and he's in like a dress, and he's sitting there with like these big bulging biceps. And the meme says, "What girls feel like when people tell them they look like their father."
Oh, God.
I don't think I've seen that.
I think of it every time because everybody tells my oldest that she looks like her dad, and she does. But and so, like, I imagine that's how she must feel every time we say it, because she gets pissed about it. And so, like, that's all I think of when I hear John Cena, because I don't follow wrestling, and that's my extent of knowledge about the dude.
I just think of that radio gag where they kept calling that woman and playing the John Cena.
John Cena.
Yeah.
Have you heard the Skrillex remix of that?
No, I have not.
I will have to send that to you sometime. I would play it on the show, but I think I would get hit with a copyright strike.
Probably.
So I'm not going to do that.
No, we don't need that.
It has the John Cena theme all Skrillexed out. Wah, 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 wah. Wah, wah.
Oh, there's copyright strike.
Yeah, there we go.
Already got it, just like that.
This show will never air. Probably shouldn't either. This is kind of a dual purpose episode. First off, it is Easter, so happy Easter, everybody.
Happy Zombie Jesus Day.
Or Sunday for many people.
Yeah.
Happy Sunday.
The other purpose is that it releases on April 20th. So,
oh, snap.
Yeah.
Smoke them if you have them.
You may say that
today,
I may have.
Your 50th anniversary will be on 4/20/69. Hot.
Damn it. I knew I should have renewed my vows this year.
There's still time. We're recording on the 19th. You can still do it tomorrow.
Fuck yes.
Celebrate the right way. That's if we even make it another 50 years.
I mean, I'm already pushing 2 decades, so sure, I'm fine. I got this.
There you go.
Being
That's optimism
today, yeah. The
That's
drugs
the way to
are
do
quick.
But Tim, you are joining us this week to tackle the news, and you got a game to talk about later on. But there is a lot of news to talk about this week.
Yeah, it's Good Friday, so I happen to be off. So it's fortuitous that all this came together.
And I'm happy that you were able to join us.
Yeah, happy to be here. As I eat my sub.
You got your food?
Yeah, the aforementioned sub. Yeah.
That's
nice.
Not fair. I'm hungry now.
I have cotton mouth. I don't know why.
I have vitamin water. Would you like some vitamin water?
I got some water. Someone has chips.
Yep. You heard the chips spilling out. I'm already like halfway through the sub, though. You didn't even know that was happening.
Man, you are hungry, aren't you?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did you taste it?
Yeah, I'm tasting. I'm giving it the business. What's up, buddy? Okay, yeah. Little man has chips. He's happy.
I'd be happy too if I had chips. Mm-hmm. But no, I have to record a goddamn podcast.
Some of us have to sound responsible and like professional podcasters.
Not me. It's my day off. Fuck.
Loud, the rest of us noise. Just say fuck a lot.
Yeah, we do. Dropping F-bombs. Blunder bombs. Anyway, a lot of news this week. We'll start things off. Inside Xbox ran their monthly episode. A lot of news came out of there. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate has officially been announced. It is going to be Game Pass and Xbox Live Gold together for $14.99 a month, and will be coming later on this year. What do you think of this service?
That is a fucking steal. It was kind of inevitable, and it had to happen that they bundled it. I didn't expect them to knock that much off of a bundle, though. I thought it'd be like, oh, well, it's $16.99 or it's $17.99 or whatever. But $14.99 is a month for both services is incredible. But that's not even the best part of it.
Isn't that what it is retail, actually? How much is Live for a year? Isn't it $60?
If you're paying monthly, it's $9.99.
Oh, well, then, yeah, that's a rip. But, I mean, who does that? No, you buy the thing for the year. Well, actually, really, you wait until like Black Friday, you get it for like $40.
Yeah. I win them on Twitter all the time, so I haven't paid in like 4 years.
Look at you.
Okay, some of us aren't that lucky.
It's funny because like I'll be like within a day or two of my live being run out, and I'll be like, oh, I need to go find a giveaway, and then the next day I'm like, never mind, I'm good for a year again.
Jesus.
That's crazy.
It's impeccable. I don't know how it happens, but I'm not mad about it. But I do think that bundling it's a good idea. But the best part is if you already have Gold paid for and Game Pass paid for, when that launches, it combines and any extra rolls over into more months of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate.
Yep.
That's
and
nice.
that gives you extra months, and that's even better.
I don't know if they're going to treat it the same way that they're doing it in the preview program. They have alpha and pre-alpha insiders able to register and be a part of Game Pass Ultimate now, which I'm a part of. And what they did was they took, like, I had a year and a half of gold and I had like 6 months of Game Pass. They combined it into 2 years of Ultimate.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know if they're going to do that when it launches for real or if this is just a perk of being an inside tester, but that's an amazing way to handle this program if that's what they're doing.
I'm curious, like, right now I have about 8 months on both of my accounts, my Game Pass and my Live, so I'm curious to see how that'll end up rolling over. Of course, I'll probably try to stack some codes before they do it. But I also wonder how that works out, because as it is right now, you can't have more than, I think it's 2 or 3 years.
3 years
worth
is
of
maximum.
Prepaid. Yeah. So what about people who already have that prepaid and then it rolls over? Like, will they lose the extra because you can't go past 3 years?
I think it just caps at 3 years.
They're going to have to find a way to deal with that, though.
I don't know.
Seems like a small percentage of people that's going to hit.
Yeah. And that's if they even treat it that way. It's very possible that if you have 3 years of each, when it happens and they merge them, that it would just count as 3 years total. Or in your case, you had 8 months of each, it would just count as 8 months total. It's very possible that that what happened with me and other insiders is a perk of just testing it. We don't know how this is going to be handled when it launches later on this year.
They did explain that was part of the deal prior to rolling over. So it did seem on Inside Xbox like that was going to be part of the launch, was if you have Game Pass and Live, then it rolls.
Yeah.
Even at launch. Not just for insiders. So
we'll find out.
I'm curious to see how it's gonna play out, like I said, for the people who are already paid up in advance.
Yeah. Anyway, there was some Sea of Thieves news where fishing and hunting are now going to be part of Sea of Thieves with a fully fleshed out cooking system. They're going to have a harpoon gun as part of your ship, and this is going to be in the anniversary update on April 30th.
That's going to be awesome. I'm a little sad that wasn't in the game at launch.
Couldn't you say that about everything that's been updated in the last year, though?
Yeah.
Probably.
Isn't that like
I had a lot of fun with Sea of Thieves, but it was like everything that's been added to it, you're like, well, that kind of seemed like it should have been there already. As much as I've enjoyed the updates, it did all feel like it just like, oh, this is adding something that's been missing. But at least they are listening and adding these things that people are saying they want. Yeah. So that's
they're taking that No Man's Sky trajectory.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little harder to forgive a AAA title taking that route compared to, say, an indie game that's just building as it goes. Yeah. Especially when they've got, Microsoft money behind them, because basically Rare could ask for anything and Microsoft would just make it rain on them.
Yeah, pretty much.
So it's a little weird that Sea of Thieves has had this kind of launch trajectory. At the same time, you want to go, hey, at least they're listening, because so many don't. So many of them do not give any fucks whatsoever. We could sit here on podcasts, we could sit here on Twitter, and people could say, wow, this game could really use X, Y, or Z, and they'd be like, yeah, we hear you, bye.
And then just not do anything.
Yeah. So at least they are actually taking it into consideration. They were very adamant at first that they wanted every ship you encountered to specifically be another human player. And then they turned around and people were like, well, but we want more. There's not always enough human players on a server that you're on. I know there were times where me and Studio would play and we would play for hours and never see anybody. And I was okay with that because I don't want to fucking deal with people. But other people were disappointed in it. So they were like, hey, look, fine. We hear you. We'll add in boats with skeleton crews. And they did. And it's fun. And it was helpful. So they listened. Yeah. It just should have been there from the jump.
Well, and then again, you never know how difficult some of this stuff is to implement. Like,
it's true.
putting a harpoon gun on a ship might seem like an easy process, but think of all the parts of the ship that you have to make sure work properly and balance properly, and the physics and redesigning and making sure that it doesn't glitch when it does certain things. Like, there's a lot of work that goes into every little bit of a game.
And how is it going to affect like the repair function of the ships? Because as it is now, you get hit by a cannon, you run down, you put a board over it, and it's fixed. It doesn't leak anymore.
Yeah,
that's how it works.
You can't do that with a harpoon.
Yeah.
So what are they going to make it where you can't just push it out? You know, if it hits the ship. So what's your means for dealing with that? Or is your boat just going to leak endlessly? So there's a lot to have to smooth over there.
Yeah. So even the tiniest thing, it might take a long time to actually get working properly. So maybe that's why it wasn't there at the start.
Yeah. I'm glad it's there now. And I hope it breathes a little extra life into Sea of Thieves and gives people some more, another reason to jump in. Yeah. Every time I have jumped in, I've had a lot of fun. It's just a matter of there's so much other shit to play that it's hard for me to convince people to just go float around on the water with me for an hour or two. Because it's one of those games that you can't just play for 5 minutes.
Yeah,
that's
you have
a day-long
commitment. It.
Yeah. and if I'm going to play it, I have to convince other people to do that too.
Yeah. Tim, have you played Sea of Thieves at all?
I have not played Sea of Thieves at all. There's 2 games I've played on my Xbox One so far, and they were both reviews.
Now I'm curious what they were.
It's Sekiro and Anger Force.
Ah, okay.
And I'm still playing Sekiro.
Nice. You're going to get Game Pass, though, right?
Oh, I got Game Pass because they had a deal last week or so where you could get like 3 months for $1.
Yeah.
So if you were a new subscriber, so I did that. But the day before, Amazon had it like buy one get one for 3 months. So I got 6 months there for $30. So I have 9 months of Game Pass, and I paid like $33 for it. So
nice.
I already downloaded Gears 4. So like the second I have had my fill of Sekiro, which might still be a while, honestly. I love those games. Yeah, I'm set for a while on the Game Pass.
Nice. Well, if you want to play anything, let me know.
Oh.
You want to commit 8 hours to playing Sea of Thieves? I'm down.
Oh, yeah, man. I definitely have that kind of time consecutively in a day. As long as I don't sleep. Right, bud? He nodded.
I mean, with kids, you're not going to be sleeping anyway.
True.
Oh, he's a good
Especially toddlers.
I
wouldn't know. I just have cats.
You don't sleep with cats either because they
put it in the garbage. But
they'd start running back and forth through the house at 2 a.m.
Very true.
Like I've discovered that the nights I stay up super late, that's all Gabe does. Is just run from one end of the house to the other at 2 or 3 a.m. And the moment I start getting ready for bed, that's when he wants to kick it up into high gear. And he makes a game out of it, and he wants to run from me. And so I finally got to the point where he hates to be, like, my cat has separation anxiety. And he hates to be in a room away from me. So I just started going to the bedroom door and going, "Good night, Gabe," and opening the door, and he comes running.
Oh, God.
He can't take it. He's like, no, we're going to bed.
Oh, man. Anyway, the next bit of news on Inside Xbox, this is the reason that I brought Tim on the show, by the way, is they officially announced the Xbox One S All Digital Edition that releases May 7th. It's going to cost $249.99, has a 1 terabyte hard drive, comes pre-installed with Minecraft, Sea of Thieves, and Forza Horizon 3, and owners of the SAD, which I have been calling it the Xbox SAD, they can get 3 months of Game Pass for $1 when the system launches. So, Tim, your thoughts on the Xbox SAD?
I think it costs too much. I think it costs way too much.
That price is never going to stick. Because one thing that they did say during Inside Xbox as well was that their plan is for the all digital to always be $50 lower than the one with a disc drive.
Yeah.
So we see the regular Xbox One S on sale all the time, $219 to $250 most of the time, and even sometimes as low as $199. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, they say $250 because that's when it's going to launch. They're not expecting the regular one to be on sale at that point, I'm assuming. And so that's why it's going to be $250. It's not going to stay that way. I guarantee you, come Black Friday, you're going to be able to pick up one of those for like $150.
Yeah, I could see that for sure.
That's fantastic. That makes it an incredible deal for people who, you know, are looking for an all-in-one game system and aren't really obliged to buying discs, just want to have Game Pass or whatever. That's a steal.
Yeah.
Is it though?
Yeah.
Even at $150. Well, I'm just saying. So it's like, yeah, obviously the Xbox One is on sale quite a bit. Like if you're, I don't know who in the world is paying $300, you know, the MSRP for an Xbox One, you know, any day of the week, because it's usually on sale for like $250 with a game. Though I often see deals where it's like, I saw one this morning, it was like $220 with like Titanfall 2 and Sunset Overdrive. Nice. And you see deals where it's like $200, or there was that one on eBay that was crazy where it was just an S, no games, but it was like $170, you know?
Yeah.
So, but I think just like coming out of the gate and being like, yeah, MSRP $250. It's like, who is that speaking to exactly? Like, yes, maybe eventually, like when it's on sale, you're going to attract some people, but like, I think out of the gate, like they needed that number to be way lower, because if someone wanted to pay $200 or whatever, let's say $250 or less for an Xbox One S over the course of the past like 2 years, they would have been able to, and they probably have one. So
well,
it just,
I think the big thing with the price too is that the system isn't aimed at people like us.
it's not, no.
You know,
No.
it's aimed at grandparents that aren't going to price shop around. They might see this as an impulse buy for their grandkids. They've heard their grandkids hollering they want an Xbox. Well, here it is. It's $250. The other one's $400. Let's go. You know, they're not going to know the difference. They're not going to have done the research. And for all intents and purposes,
it's here to take advantage of people. The perfect pricing strategy.
You know, honestly, it's just not meant for people like that. And I don't think the price is at all going to be $250 for very long. Hell, for that matter, they could pop up in June and be like, hey, remember the Xbox All Digital? Well, now it's $199. You know,
That's really where I think it should have started, is at $199.
That's where I thought it was going to start. And so I was a little disappointed. But then I was like, well, given that they made the statement it's always going to be $50 lower, you know it's not going to actually sell at $250.
Yeah, it's not going to stay there long at all.
But I think there's
like
also the issue
the PlayStation Classic.
Yeah.
They launched it at $80 to get as many sales as they could, and now you could buy one for $40.
Was it like 100? Didn't it launch at 100?
It was 100.
Oh, was it 100?
Yeah.
I thought it was 80.
The
But
greatest of offs.
I think I lost my train of thought too. Fuck. Nailed
It's
it.
okay.
I'm the best co-host ever.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
the
look
best
at your
you've ever had.
Literally, look at the competition. So, I mean,
But-
Chris was good. I miss Chris.
Chris is fine. But I don't think they ever really mean for it to stick at $250. I think there's a lot that's involved when it comes to pricing something like that. And if they turn around and they go, okay, well, it's $199 right out of the gate, that doesn't leave them a lot of wiggle room to drop it lower more frequently.
Yeah, very true.
So if they start off and go, hey, it's $250, and then they go, hey, look, a month later they go, look, it's $1. You know, it's $1.99.
Yeah, it's $1.99.
I wish it's $1.99. And then people go, oh hell, that was quick. Fine, sure. You know, you get people interested, then you chop the price, and then they give you your money. And it's a good thing. But it's for people like us. Yeah, we're watching these prices. We check out all the stats and we obsess and we speculate, and that's not who they're trying to hook here.
Yeah.
And that's okay. It's just, I think it puts a bad taste in the mouth of people like us.
Well, I think it's just like anybody who is knowledgeable of technology at all and looks at that. Like, I get it that the manufacturing proposition of like, okay, you are taking a Blu-ray drive out of a piece of hardware. Like a Blu-ray drive does not cost that much, to put in there. But the value proposition of what that hands off to the consumer, in being able to buy used games and pick up old cheap 360 games and use it as a Blu-ray player. It feels like, if you're only saving $50, that's not worth it. So
it is it's really me. In all honesty, when I bought my Xbox One S, if I could have bought the all digital, I would have. If it had already been out, I would have happily paid money for that. Ugh. I've used my disc drive like twice in the 2 years I've had my Xbox One S. Before that, in the fat Xbox, I think I used it maybe another 2 or 3 times.
Yeah,
it's just not something we just don't keep physical games.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's plenty of people like us out there that are like, man, I don't need physicals anyway. Most anything that you can buy cheap at GameStop, you're gonna find on sale stupid low on Xbox at some point anyway.
Yeah, especially when you look at GameStop's pricing. But I that's one of the reasons that I did go all digital. I was like, well, shit, I buy everything stupid cheap anyway. And then it also makes it more affordable for people who have or want to have more than one Xbox. You can't afford to get 2 Xbox One X's, but I can afford to get 2 Xbox One S digital. And then we can share the games between the two. And we can share Game Pass, and we can share Xbox Live, and you saved a fortune. Yeah,
it is not bad as a second device if you
I was gonna say
desire
it's
one in your house.
Perfect as a bedroom console.
Yeah,
but as far as getting in, I don't know. I just think it should be cheaper, and I don't think it's going to grab as many people as they think it's going to.
I think this is aimed at a more of a high class person. Like this is going to be the trendy media box that they have.
I think it's more meant to like test the waters for future consoles to see if they could manage getting away from disk drives.
Well, in a way, it's what they wanted to do to begin with the Xbox One.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, they had a Rage 2 segment that is releasing May 14th. I'm excited for Rage 2.
I won the Avatar wingsuit that they were giving. Yeah.
Nice.
I don't know how many they gave away, but I did win one of them. And then I was like, oh, I don't even know what this is. But I won it because that's what I do.
Of course. Tim, are you excited for Rage 2?
I'm pretty indifferent about Rage 2.
I want the collector's edition with like the Billy Big Mouth Bass style mutant head.
Mm-hmm.
You could hang on the wall and it just starts talking to you. Oh, God.
I mean, I never played Rage 1. Rage 2 looks more colorful. It looks like it's trying to be Borderlands-ish. But, I guess it's not really my bag. I don't even really like Borderlands that much. If you want to understand where I'm coming from. So it's not really
just not for you.
Me. Yeah, it's not really my thing. I might play it and enjoy it at some point, but it's not something I'm going to rip out there and grab day one by any means.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it at least. They had a Gears esports segment, which I didn't care about at all.
There's still Gears esports? That's actually a thing?
Yes.
Come on. No.
Yes.
Get out of here.
Yep,
Stop.
Gears esports. I didn't even pay attention to it, so I can't tell you any of the details.
I didn't either.
Made up. That seems made up. Get out of here. No. I have not heard. Okay, whatever. Sure. I don't believe it.
Now I'm curious if like the little Funko Pop Gears game is gonna have an esports mode.
Oh God, that's not out yet? Didn't they announce it months ago?
It was just last year.
Oh, okay, man. Oh, yeah. Passage of time.
I think it's soft launched in a country in Europe. Someone was saying that they had it over there, so I think it's getting near release.
Yeah.
Huh. So who knows?
I forgot about it.
Interesting enough that Gears 5, when it launches, will launch it to Game Pass.
Yeah, which will be awesome because Game Pass is great.
So you won't even have to pay to get your esport on. You just be esport ready.
Esports ready. There's that key marketing term that I like to hear.
We're spending way more time on this esports part than I thought we would.
Esports ready. Oh man, shut up and take my money.
Oh god. They had a segment on Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, which looks good.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see more.
I don't do Star Wars.
They didn't show like really anything of particular note for that game yet. It was just like no gameplay, right? Correct?
I don't know. It was just a reveal trailer. I think it was all just cutscene.
I think it was
bullshit.
I had heard that there was no gameplay, so I didn't even bother.
No multiplayer and no microtransactions, so.
Yeah, they said it will be single-player story game with 0 loot boxes or microtransactions. Then again, their tagline for the game is trust no one. So should we really take their word for it?
Yeah, it's coming from EA, standing up against EA. So, yeah. It would be nice. I don't know.
It's going to be releasing November 15th, though, so we'll find out later on this year.
That pre-Christmas rush. They just don't learn the lesson.
They announced that Ninja Gaiden 2 is now a part of the Xbox Backward Compatibility program. Not only that, but it is Xbox One X enhanced, so you could get that 4K goodness on the Xbox One X.
Mm-hmm. That's not the only Xbox One X enhanced game they announced, though.
No, they also announced all 3 of the Splinter Cell games, Double Agent, Conviction, and Blacklist, as well as Fable 2 and 3.
Yeah, I was pretty surprised to see Fable 2 and 3 on that list.
Why?
That's cool. My wife will play those in our Xbox with a disc drive in it, because we already own the games.
I own them digitally because they were games with gold.
Aren't they in Game Pass as well?
Yeah, they might be.
Yeah,
so you won't have to worry about installing them. You don't even need your
fucking disc.
Wow, use them. We'll use up that hard drive space.
You have to be installed. The disc is basically
true.
Just
that's right. Yeah.
The license key, basically. So, joke's on you.
Oh man! After that, they talked about the new game bar and widgets coming to Windows 10. I don't really care about this stuff.
If my PC could handle gaming more than it does, I'd be down for this stuff, but it just does not.
I liked one thing, though, is that they showed that you can pull up a stream and have it playing as you're playing a game, so you can follow along with your favorite players, not realizing, what about stream snipers?
Snipers, yeah. But you know what I did think? There's times where I'm trying to show Studa shit in a game, and I'm like, man, I wish I were streaming so I could just be like, look.
This is what you do, moron.
Describing shit to Studa is like 9/10 of my gaming experience. And so it would be a lot easier just to stream it and be like, look, jackass, right here. Shoot this. We've been doing the hunters in the Division, and you have to like do all these tasks to trigger them to spawn. And I gave up trying to explain to him what we needed to do and just started doing it myself. And then he's like, hunters, where'd they come from? I'm like, that's what I've been doing.
Pay attention. I mean, at least I pay attention when I play with you.
Yeah, I have useful information. I do.
Anyway, after that, they went into a segment on the Warhammer Chaos Bane beta that's going on this week. We're hopefully going to be talking about that next week on the show.
Yes.
That's all on you, right?
That will be my weekend right there.
The beta goes for 1 week starting, I believe, right now. So by the time you hear this, if you have access to the beta, like if you pre-ordered the game or whatever, if you want a beta code or something, there you go.
Yep.
So after that was a Zachary Levi segment for Shazam, which yippee.
It's a good movie.
Is it?
Yeah. Saw it with the boy last weekend. It's good. It's fun.
I heard it's a fun one.
Yeah.
DC, though.
Yep. Probably the best DC movie, I guess. Close to it.
I did like Aquaman.
I have not seen Aquaman.
Yeah, I haven't either, but I immediately gonna go for Jason Momoa over Zachary Levi. So
Me too.
sorry.
Oh, word.
I have preferences. Zachary Levi ain't them.
Fair. After that was talk about the spring sale, which is going on right now for the next couple of days. I believe it ends on Monday or Tuesday.
Mm-hmm. There's some
a lot
good
of stuff on
the
sale. Yeah. Tim, are you looking through the sale at all?
No, I have way too much stuff to play already.
On this.
I don't even really look at the Steam sale anymore either. Like, we're being honest. I mean, it's just like, well, especially on Xbox in particular, I have Game Pass, which has all of the Xbox One exclusives that I haven't played for the past 4 or 5 years. So I'm good for a while. And then there's some after that. So yeah. Once I get through all my Game Pass content, then maybe I'll start looking at sales.
If you play nothing else as far as like older and non-Xbox exclusive games goes, play The Flame and the Flood. That is
I own that game somewhere.
One of my favorite games ever, and it's been on Game Pass ever since Game Pass started, and everybody needs to play The Flame and the Flood.
I bet I have it on Steam. I bet.
Fuck Steam. At least it's on PlayStation.
Steam doesn't require discs. Why don't you like it? What?
Because my computer is outdated. It's better than it was, but it's not.
It's better than mine.
It's better. My other one. Yeah, we don't talk about. It doesn't even have a power button that works. You just have to plug it in or unplug it to turn it on.
Oh wow. That's pretty stale. Pretty bad right there.
It's an all-in-one, too. That made it even worse.
Wow.
Good God.
Good God.
Anyway, after that, they talked about the Xbox Fan Fest going on at E3, and then an interview with Phil Spencer where he talked about E3 plans and xCloud technology and how the fun that he's had testing it.
Ask your mother. He's asking me to help him go poop, which he can do by himself, I might add, but
sometimes you need an audience. Makes things move.
He desperately wants me to help him poop.
Oh man. Anyway, After Inside Xbox, there was some other news. Capcom has announced the Capcom Home Arcade, a plug-and-play 2-player arcade joystick with 16 pre-installed games. The included games are 1944, Alien vs. Predator, Armored Warriors, Capcom Sports Club, Captain Commando, Cyberbots, Darkstalkers, Eco Fighters, Final Fight, Ghouls and Ghosts, Gigawing, Mega Man The Power Battle, Pro Gear, Street Fighter 2 Hyper Fighting, Strider, and Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo. So it's a really, really solid lineup of games. Yeah. This is very much going to be a premium product. It is retailing for €229.
Which is $300 American.
Is that the US price?
Yes,
300?
I immediately did the math when I saw it. And you want to talk about things that are overpriced. Holy shit.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess, yeah, it's a premium collector's thing. It's a giant Capcom logo that it's one piece and it has both joysticks on the piece. So you have to get very snug with somebody to use it. Yeah, that's a lot.
It's made with Sanwa parts, which is apparently a very high quality item.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, no, Sanwa parts are good. They're good. I'm not going to disparage them, but also, like, man, that is a pricey piece to pay. And you know,
it is.
There's not a lot of fighting games on there. There's only one Street Fighter on there. Like, it's a solid lineup of games, like, for a collection that you wouldn't pay $300 for. I mean, on average per game, that's like 10 some odd bucks. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's just a lot.
It is a lot.
Does it have a disc
I'm sure
drive?
it's going to sell.
It does not. It's all digital. I think they alluded that it comes preloaded with the games, which means that they might sell more games later.
Especially because it has built-in Wi-Fi.
Oh.
Sure. Yeah.
So there is the potential for more games to be added to it.
Yeah, if it turns out that they have a store of retro arcade classics that you could buy through this thing. If they're affordable, this might be worth looking into picking up just for the potential collection that you could build.
If they're affordable is the hitch, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if they're selling this thing for $300.
Well, I think most of the cost comes down to the parts that they used for
Oh
it.
yeah, it's the thing they're building it out of. Like
Yeah.
the games are pretty tertiary at that point.
I mean, Aliens versus Predator is pretty fucking cool.
That's cool. I wish that was on the beat 'em up thing last year. Like, come on, man.
I know.
That game never gets released. That's like their Star Fox 2 like bait game on there.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to buy it just for Alien vs. Predator.
Gigawing is pretty big too, I think.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Not everybody has a copy of Gigawing sitting on their shelf.
Yeah. Show off.
Which,
Big update hit Smash Brothers this week with the
hell yeah.
the previously rumored stage builder mode, a video editor mode, an online hub on that shitty Switch app on the phone that you could share stages and videos, and it adds Joker from Persona 5 as the new character.
Heck yeah.
All of the content is free updates except for Joker, which is $6 and includes Joker, a new stage, and some music from the Persona series. And then Joker is also obviously part of the Challenger Pack 1 for $25, which will include 4 more fighters and stages in the future. Tim, I'm guessing you've put some time into it,
right? Like everyone bought this, they just bought the season pass, right? No one's buying this stuff a la carte. Like, come on now. Yeah, no,
But
I
didn't
have
the servers like explode? When
Oh
it
yeah.
released?
Like that night I was trying to download it and just the eShop was dead. I had to wait till the next morning to download it. Or the next day or something like that. Yeah, it was just toast. But yeah, I spent a little time. They did a really good job with Joker and the Persona stuff. Like the stage has 3 different color schemes depending on what music is playing. His like victory screen is the same as the battle victory screen from Persona 5.
Nice.
With him running, like that's a really slick addition. And also the music on that changes depending on what the theme of the stage is as well. So yeah, they did a really good job, and there's a bunch more music. There's now more Persona in Smash than there is Final Fantasy. Doesn't say much, but yeah, there's like a dozen music selections. 3 of them are new arrangements. It's great, and he's fun to play, I guess.
I'm so bummed that like
Guess that's
Square
also
didn't do shit with Cloud's inclusion in the game. They have what,
I
2
know.
music tracks?
2 music tracks, and then it's just like just his stage and Cloud, and like that's it. That's all we care.
Yeah, that's a bummer, but
Yeah, like no spirits from Final Fantasy, or other Square games. It's in this massive museum of video game history references and stuff. Like they're just like, nah, we're good. Like
just
thanks.
him, just 2 songs. That's it. Have fun.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for nothing.
Not even any remixes.
Yeah, nothing. So yeah, I'm surprised that they didn't announce the next character.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised too. It's been how long since the game's out, and we've only heard of just Joker. Like no hints, nothing for future people.
Yeah,
E3. It's available now.
maybe, possibly. That might be a little.
And then the
no.
servers crash again.
No, I think that could happen because I'm trying to think. Piranha Plant came out like end of January, beginning of February. This one was 2 months after that. So yeah, 2 months after that. Yeah, you might get an E3 surprise drop.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Any idea who you think it might be?
My money, I did, and Twitter will back me up because I had a lengthy Twitter thread speculating as to who I thought might be in the game. But my first guess and the rumor is that it's something from Dragon Quest.
Oh.
Yeah, because the way they said it is that the DLC characters, it sounds like, are going to be from non-Nintendo franchises. So I think they're going to be rounding up stuff that you haven't seen in Smash before, or in non-Nintendo characters. And like the first thing I was like, okay, what series haven't they got done? And it's Dragon Quest, and like every Dragon Quest is on Nintendo systems. Dragon Quest 11 is coming out on Switch. I don't know, at some point. Yeah, later this year. I don't know. So yeah, like yeah, I think that would be a good fit. Even though Square like totally dissed them on Final Fantasy, maybe they care more about Final Fantasy than Dragon Quest. So maybe I'm thinking Dragon Quest.
Were people speculating that Ori from Ori and the Blind Forest would be one?
Ooh, that would be cool.
It's interesting because Ori's already in Rivals of Aether too.
Yeah.
So
my fingers are still crossed that we get Banjo-Kazooie.
Yeah. I think that, the Microsoft would be down with that. Like, I don't think that they would. Yeah.
I think they've even asked like Phil Spencer, and he's fully behind the idea of it happening. So I would love to see Banjo-Kazooie happen. That would be amazing.
Yeah. Microsoft doesn't seem to really mind working with other companies. It's Sony that's grumpy about it.
Grumpy's a nice way to say it around here.
Grumpy.
We tend to just call them fuckbirds or something. I don't know. Whatever comes to mind at the time.
I'm trying to remember everything I wrote down at the time. I was thinking maybe they'd put in a Mortal Kombat character.
Lord.
They have had T-rated Mortal Kombat games. Remember the Mortal Kombat versus DC? That wasn't all blood and guts.
Yeah,
so
true.
They could do it.
Get Scorpion in there. Oh my God. Get over here.
Trying to think. I don't know. Whatever. I'm not going to look it up, but that's what you should be thinking about is other franchises.
Cuphead would be cool.
Cuphead.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Cuphead.
And his alternate outfit would be Mugman.
Yeah.
Mugman featuring Cuphead.
I mean, Cuphead's already on the Switch, so
yeah, as
it's
of this
definitely
week.
Possible. Did you pick it up yet?
No, I didn't. I got games to review. Can't get distracted. Eyes on the prize.
Oh, let's see. What other news was this week? The first details of the PS5 have been revealed by Sony's Mark Cerny. He said it will not release in 2019. He also didn't call it the PS5. He just said an unnamed next generation console.
Yeah.
But it's going to be called the PS5, really.
Yeah. I guess you never know.
What the hell else are they going to do? They
might just call it the PlayStation.
The station player.
Well, no, you do the thing where it's like Apple does where at some point the iPhone and the iPad just became the iPhone and the iPad,
Yeah.
So
the PlayStation XS.
Oh God. The PlayStation 1.
That would piss people off.
Yeah, probably. Anyway, he said that it will not release in 2019, but studios are already working with dev kits. The console will supposedly feature ray tracing graphics, support for 8K graphics, and a specialized solid-state hard drive. The example that they gave was on a PS4 Pro, loading up Spider-Man took 15 seconds, and on the dev kit, it took 0.8, which is a significant improvement.
Yeah.
That's a tall order too, because even just with ray tracing, there's only like 5 games on PC that can
that's an expensive order to have that kind of hardware in every, and I can't think it's going to be like that big either. Like it just makes me wonder, do they have like a solid state drive and then they have like a regular drive? You could still expand your hard drive space, but it has to, I don't know, maybe copy it to the solid state if you really want to play it. I don't know. I just can't admit, like solid state drives, like once you get over a terabyte, are really expensive. So
yeah,
I don't know. Maybe things will change in a year for when it actually comes out, which will be presumably Christmas 2020,
Probably.
I can't wait for all of the people to start like hollering about how great the PlayStation 5 with 8K is going to be when like 8K TVs are like $100,000. Ain't nobody going to have that shit.
Yeah. No, I think it's just more a thing they're just saying like, it's future proof.
It's checkerboard 8K.
It's ready. Yeah.
And so not native 8K, but it'll be okay because it's PlayStation doing it. I can already just hear Twitter's echo chambers exploding.
Always. Hey, Sony does no wrong, right?
Oh, it's going to be fantastic.
But the rumor, and it has supposedly been confirmed by some people online or backing up the rumor, is that whatever Xbox is working on is supposedly more advanced and more powerful anyway.
Yeah,
So,
I think Microsoft is going to pull out all the stops. Their launch with the Xbox One was rough. And even though
that's an understatement.
Yeah. they're not going to have any choice but to blow everybody out of the water. And it might backfire a little bit that PlayStation has released what they have, because now Microsoft's just going to be like, oh, well, we know what we got to blow out of the water now, don't we?
Yeah.
It's basically like, here's our submarine. It's at E5, 6, and 7. And Microsoft's going to go, gee, that's a Battleship reference for anybody too young to understand that.
I was going to say, they got to be careful, though, because, like, yeah, they can make a super powerful console, but they got to make sure it has a good price point, or they're just going to get smoked. Because it didn't matter if the Xbox One was more powerful than the PlayStation 4 at the time. Like, as soon as Sony said $399, like, that was it. It was over. It's like,
and that's something that Microsoft can afford to sell. They already sell consoles at a loss.
Yeah.
So they're not going to be hesitant to be like, we're losing money on it, because their return on investment, especially with Game Pass Ultimate and Xbox Live and everything, that's just, they're not worried about that at all. So
they just want the boxes to sell so that you buy software and content.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, I get it. But
they can afford to create
they're a
one
business
beast-ass console that and then just undercut it and be like, well, we're not worried about that, you know. that's their the long, I keep saying Microsoft's playing the long game when it comes to consoles and stuff. They're drilling it into your head that they're the ones that's going to stand out above the crowd and be innovative and have kind of the features that you want. Their marketing hasn't always been good on that up to date. They've gotten better, and they clearly take it very seriously. You know, again, we were talking about Rare listening to people and putting in what they want based on what the community asks for. Xbox is definitely getting better at listening to the community and putting in aspects. I worry that sometimes they listen to the very loud and vocal minority, though. I hope that Twitter echo chamber is a beast.
Yeah, true.
And I think sometimes that can
just not messing with it, okay?
Result in some features that would otherwise be useful getting lost.
I miss Snap.
Exactly.
I miss Snap so bad on the Xbox. I would do anything. I would give up all of their speed and dashboard supposed improvements. I would give all of that shit up just to get Snap back.
Speaking of speed, can we just take a second to talk about how good the on-screen keyboard is all of a sudden from the update the other day? Oh, it was like in Rocket League, it used to take forever to pop up, and I'd have to wait until I was like on a goal screen where it like shows the shot over before I would try to type something in chat, and now it's like, no, it just pops up and it's gone and it's done. And
yeah,
it's so responsive that I'm not used to it, that I'm making typos, and so I just make myself look like a bigger fool in Rocket League now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Win-win.
But it's so good. It's about goddamn time. Thanks for listening. It just gets better.
Yeah. Let's see what else. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 is going to be launching July 19th on the Switch. I'm looking forward to that one.
Nah.
Yeah, I like the Ultimate Alliance games.
Okay.
Next.
Didn't know if there would be more discussion on that one or not.
No, not really. It's just like, oh, it's coming out.
It's cool. The servers for the original Burnout Paradise are going to be shutting down on August 1st after over 11 and a half years. The remaster servers are going to be unaffected. They'll still be going. This is the end of an era with Burnout Paradise shutting down.
I didn't realize
11 years.
11 years old.
Pour one out.
Holy shit.
Makes me feel so old. 11 and a half years. My back hurts just saying it.
Yeah. Oh.
Wow.
Whew.
Maybe I'll go back and play the original a couple more times just to
just to see it off.
Leave the memories alone. The complete lineup for the Castlevania Anniversary Collection has been revealed. Tim, I'm sure you saw this.
Sorry. The what?
The full lineup for the Castlevania Anniversary Collection.
I did.
The 8 games are Castlevania, Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest, Castlevania 3 Dracula's Curse, Super Castlevania 4, Castlevania The Adventure, Castlevania 2 Belmont's Revenge, Castlevania Bloodlines, and Kid Dracula. The collection is releasing May 16th for $20 on Xbox, Switch, PS4, and PC. Tim, what do you think of the game lineup?
It's pretty good. Oh, God. Sorry. Richard, not right now, buddy. He's showing me a robot transformer. Yes, bud. Yeah, it's cool. I'm glad that they are bringing out, like, the Game Boy games and Kid Dracula, which I don't think got released in North America.
No, not the NES version, which is what they're including.
Yeah. I mean, I got a copy on my shelf.
Oh, fuck you.
The Famicom version. So yeah, that's a cool, like, classic lineup there. And they have, like, Bloodlines is going to be on that Genesis Mini too, which is nice because that's also not really been re-released at all. Yeah. So yeah, that's a cool little package of old Castlevania games. I hope they have good treatment around them.
I just hope they have a volume 2 that includes some of the GBA and DS games. That's what I was really hoping for. Yeah,
well, I think they said it's a volume 1. I think I saw that somewhere that this was just volume 1. So yeah, I am assuming that we'll get inundated with Igarashi Castlevanias at a later date.
Oh God, I hope so. I would drop so much money to get HD remasters of that shit.
Okay, well now you're reaching a bit, I think.
Okay, maybe a little. It'd be nice though.
Yeah.
And then last bit of news that I have is that GameStop is launching a new Guaranteed to Love It program, starting with Days Gone, where if you return the game within the first 48 hours of launch, you get a $59.99 trade-in credit.
It's a ballsy game to start that program with, right?
No shit.
Glad I wasn't the only one that thought that.
They are going to have so many used copies of Days Gone. Holy shit! Oh man,
so many.
Maybe that's how they're getting people to buy Days Gone. You know, on the other hand, maybe it's just like you look at the pre-orders for Days Gone, which are probably in the single digits, and they're like, okay, how are we going to sell this game? We'll just say you can bring it back. We'll give you a credit. Pay it forward. I mean, it's good overall. It's always good to get, you know, to have that option as a consumer. It's just funny that it's that game, which does not look good.
It doesn't look good, plus it's just a single player game.
Oh my God.
Like, people could beat it in the first 48 hours and return it and get a full refund and just buy a different game.
Yeah. I mean, I guess at that point you could just rent the game if you're going to be able to beat it in 48 hours.
It would cost more to rent it than it costs tax, I'm sure.
Maybe. I don't know. Depends on your county.
True.
Around here, I think 2 nights from a Redbox might be just barely cheaper than a freaking. Yeah. It's good though.
So yeah, that's the news I got. Anyone else have any other news?
They did announce a bunch more games for that Genesis Mini.
They
did.
Is
going to have a hell of a lineup. Like, that is looking like perhaps the best mini console yet. Other than the fact that it's coming with 3-button controllers instead of 6-button controllers, even if you don't really need the 6-button controllers for anything. That's what it comes down to, is really there's not that many Genesis games that actually use it. It's like Street Fighter and ...
See, I wouldn't mind if the Japanese version wasn't coming with 6-button controllers.
I know. It just makes you mad.
Grass is greener on the other side.
Yeah.
So's the world.
But yeah, I don't remember all that they announced for it this week off the top of my head. I mean, you can look it up for yourselves, but it's really good. Like Landstalker, I think they added to it. Like Thunder Force 3. It's looking really good. The emulation's being done by M2, who does all the emulation for like the classics releases, which are fantastic.
Yeah.
So,
I have high hopes for this console.
Not that was ever in question. I think that Streets of Rage 2 would be on there, but
Streets of Rage 2, Contra Hardcore, Earthworm Jim, Castle of Illusion, World of Illusion, Sonic 2.
Expected. Shinobi 3, Super Fantasy Zone. So
they've got some good stuff coming.
Yeah, and I think it's going to have 40 games on it. Mean Bean Machines on it already. You know, Comic Zone. Like, that's... Yeah.
I'm probably going to pick this one up.
I have been considering that I'm probably going to pick one up, and I don't have a very large Genesis collection. I don't have a lot of nostalgia for the system, so this might just become my Genesis, and I might just sell off what I got, other than Streets of Rage 2, which is one of the best games ever made.
It is. It's really good. And the soundtrack. Oh,
yeah. Don't even, yeah. Yep.
Oh, that soundtrack.
Yep.
No Time for Games saying just need California Games and Evander Holyfield's Real Deal Boxing. I don't know about Evander Holyfield. That one sounds like it might be a tough get.
They need to get, they do have a Shining Force on there. They need to get like a Fantasy Zone on there, and not Fantasy Zone, Fantasy Star, for God's sake. Fantasy Star. That just needs to get on there. Maybe another Shining Force. I don't know. I like the variety. I like let's just get the best game from every series, not do what every Genesis collection does, and just like, here's all 4 Sonic games, and here's all the Streets of Rage games, and here's all the everything. Like, no, a more eclectic selection, you know?
Yeah, I like what they're doing with this collection.
Yeah, putting in like Earthworm Jim and Castlevania and Contra Hardcore, like, that's looking great. They're doing it, man.
And Disney games, that's really cool. Castle of Illusion, World of Illusion.
Yep.
That's really neat.
That's a classic game. Ugh.
All right, Cole, any news from you?
Nope, I don't think so. I think I interrupted with everything I had already.
All right, then. I guess we are ready to jump into the reviews. Tim, are you good to do your review?
I am good to review.
All right. First game to talk about tonight is called Katana ZERO, developed by Askiisoft, published by Devolver Digital, released April 18th on Switch and Steam for $14.99. Katana ZERO is a stylish neo-noir action platformer featuring breakneck action and instant death combat. Slash, dash, and manipulate time to unravel your past in a beautifully brutal aerobatic display. Tim, tell us about this one.
I just love, like, descriptions of games these days, like neo-noir. That's what it said. Yeah. Like, man, they pack words and hyphens into there. Cut it out. Fucking Richard, Jesus Christ. I didn't say a bad word. You didn't hear me say that. What's up? Okay, buddy. I'll see you. See you later. He's going upstairs.
To tell on you for saying a bad word.
He didn't even catch it this time somehow. Believe me, it's already in his vernacular.
I never censored. I've had 3 kids and I never censored myself.
I try. This morning, fun story. Okay, sorry. This morning we were out to breakfast and like this line of dudes walks in and sits down at the counter. He says, "Good morning, turds." Like, Richard, what the heck?
That's beautiful.
It was funny. Anyways, Katana ZERO.
Yeah.
We got a stylish 2D samurai action murder game on our hands. Oh, buddy, come on. It's like, there he goes. He's heading upstairs. I guess he's bored down here.
Oh, my Lord.
Yeah, geez. So yeah, the game has a really cool style about it. When they say neo-noir, that's pretty accurate. It's got a lot of good mood and just like style to the graphics and the effects and the sound effects and the soundtrack and just kind of the way that like scenes come together and play out. Like, it's not just a straightforward action game. Like, there's actually quite a bit of story scenes and dialogue trees like in between the levels, which is really cool. So the way the game plays out is you are the dragon, as the media calls you. You are you murder the heck out of people. The circumstances of your job and your nightly excursions to kill and assassinate people are kind of shrouded in mystery and unravel as the game goes about. But generally it plays out with you go to see your therapist. Kind of the setup is that your character, who is a samurai, appears to be a samurai, at least he is told that he was a veteran in the war and he was injured and lost his memory. Okay. Oh, thank goodness he's back. So yeah, it seems like perhaps the person handling you is not being entirely genuine, but you have your therapist appointment. He gives you your medication and usually a folder to detail your target for that evening. you roll up to whatever, building it is, warehouse, nightclub, etc. And then the dude like seems to pop a cassette into his Walkman. So I guess he likes to listen to music while he works. Nice little touch. But the way things play out is the way that it's framed, which I think is neat, is the action that you're doing is actually just taking place in your samurai character's head as he plans out how he's going to attack a room. So if you die, he's just like, oh, okay, that won't work. And then it starts you over and like rewinds. It's just kind of, cool. I just like justification for dying in games and not just that you have a million lives. Yeah. So the way it plays out, you can jump, you can roll, you can slash and throw things. And you do have the ability to slow down time, which comes into play for dodging, mostly for dodging and deflecting bullets. It can come in handy. Just there's some guys that have melee weapons that will try to melee you, but usually it's like, okay, this guy's pulling a gun on me. I want to slow down time right when I think he's going to shoot, so I can hit the bullet back at him. Right?
Sweet.
What's disgusting is playing so much Sekiro and getting used to parrying. Like there was one encounter where I wasn't even having to slow time to deflect the bullets. I'm just like, man, I am awesome at deflecting as a samurai right now. Holy crap, I am on the board. You only have a limited amount of slowdown juice. There's a meter. It goes down as your slowdown time. So you can't just like slow down your way through the level. And I should also mention that like your character himself goes at the same speed as everything else in the environment. So it's not just a thing where it's like, okay, the whole world freezes in time and I move fast. This is important because it means that like if a bullet is in front of you, you can't just like jump out of the way. No, that bullet's going to hit you because you're going to jump slow. And your slashes are also deliberate, like they don't cancel when you just hit the button twice. Like the slash has its animation and it has to finish before you can slash again. So you can't just like spam the sword button in front of a dude with a gun either. You actually have to time it. So you do need to make use of these mechanics. So you'll go through a room, you'll kill all the people in there, it'll tell you can move forward, and then it shows your character actually going through the motions of what you just did, except it doesn't slow down time. So you will just see him like in real time, just jump over guys, slash them, roll, deflect bullets, all that stuff.
That's awesome.
It's neat. Yeah, it's a neat little thing. So yeah, you plan out your attack, then you do it. There's things start to get muddy towards the end, but there's about 10-ish stages. You're going through like multiple days. I think you do skip like a day or two in the middle, and some take weird turns. Like the game is not light on its narrative and its story twists and plot twists and dialogue as you're trying to figure out like what is going on with your character, what is his past, like what is up with this drug that's going around, like why is this one dude with like blue hair so infatuated with you, like what is the deal, like why can you slow time, what is your character's past. So there's a lot going on with them. There's more incentive to play than just like mindless, or I won't say mindless, but than just the action. There's more going on there than that. And like I mentioned, like there's dialogue when you get back after a mission. Like usually you'll have like you meet and make friends with a little girl that lives in your apartment complex. And she annoys you because you're a stoic samurai assassin murder man, and she's just a little girl. What are you doing, dude?
I need an apple. I need a red sword back there.
You need a what?
The red sword.
Oh, no, you do not need the red sword right now. Because I cannot properly supervise you.
What can I have?
How about nothing?
No,
Here, don't break anything. I just gave him a Darth Maul lightsaber. Hopefully I still have a house standing in 5 minutes.
I'm going with a no.
So yeah, you meet a little girl that you interact with, and like all of the dialogues, they have a thing where you can just kind of like snap the dialogue shut by like just saying like just cutting the conversation short, basically. Like, your therapist is trying to analyze you, but you can just cut them off and be like, just give me my medicine. Just give me my medicine, dude. Or you can be really mean to the girl in that fashion. But it's cool that there's like branching dialogue and different options there in how you want to tackle things. So it's neat. There's a good mood to it. I like that. It has some neat story stuff going on, and the gameplay is fun. and like it looks good and sounds good. It's good. It's a good game.
Do you have any negatives about it?
Not really. Once I got used to it, I was kind of like irritated with like the slashing of the combat. Like, well, I guess I'll say, okay, this I will say is kind of a negative. Is like it feels like there's not much of a window for failure sometimes. Like there's some instance where I'm like breaking down a door and then rolling up to a guy with a gun, and it feels like I have to be like frame perfect to slash this guy before he fires off on me. Like there was like some encounters where it was just like, you know, it's pretty quick to reload and get you back in there, but it was just like me just banging my head like for 30 seconds against this guy, just like trying to get the timing of like, okay, go through the door, do this, and slash him perfectly before he can shoot me. And then it's like sometimes I die later on the level, and then it's like, oh crap, I messed up my timing on this guy again. So that's kind of I mean, it is a little bit tough. And maybe a little bit too demanding with some of the timing, I feel like, but other than that, it's a real solid game.
Awesome. So $15, what do you say?
Yeah, I'd say buy it. if it catches your fancy, I'd say to buy it.
It looks really awesome. So yeah, I hope it comes to more platforms in the future.
Yeah, it's just like what on Switch and PC right now.
Yeah.
Well, it was featured on Nintendo's Nindy thing, so they probably have some kind of a limited exclusivity for it.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll see it on PlayStation and Xbox in the future.
I am sure we will.
Awesome. Well, Tim, thank you so much for coming on and hanging out with us.
It was fun. It was nice to actually do the whole show. For a change, I don't always have the time.
Well, most of the show. We still have more to do after you leave.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Who could stay around for an entire show? It was great being part of the podcast.
Only monsters.
All right. Well, Tim, do you have any final words before you head out?
I do not. I need to get some water. I am parched.
All right. Well, then you hang up and have yourself a wonderful day.
All right. Later.
Peace.
Bye.
All right. Are you ready to move on?
Let's go.
You sure?
Let's go.
Next game to talk about is called World War Z. This game was provided to us by Saber Interactive for the purpose of this review. I have to say that for this one, even though that's how it is for every game we cover. Every single game is given to us for the purpose of the review. That's just how we do things. But this one was provided to us by Saber Interactive. So thank you, Saber Interactive, because the game was developed by Saber Interactive and published by Mad Dog Games, released April 16th on Xbox One and PS4 for $39.99, the Epic Game Store for $34.99. Humanity is on the brink of extinction. From New York to Moscow and Jerusalem, the undead apocalypse continues to spread. As the end looms, a hardened few band together to defeat the horde and outlive the dead. Cole, tell us about it.
So this is loosely based on the World War Z novel, or the movie, or whichever one you want to consider it based on. I tend to go with the novel in this situation, though. It does take place in 4 different cities. It's a co-op third-person shooter. If you've played Left 4 Dead, you've already got the gist. This was made as a spiritual successor, if you will. Some of the team members from Left 4 Dead worked on this. So it's definitely very Left 4 Dead-ish when you play it.
Although it's third person instead of first person.
Instead of first. And that is not at all a bad thing. I think as a spiritual successor for Left 4 Dead, World War Z does a fantastic job at filling the void of what, we all want that co-op zombie shooter where you're just constantly in a rush, and it does a very, very good job at filling a lot of those holes. Mm-hmm. It's not a perfect experience, though. I will say it has the online co-op. You can also play it offline with bots, but there's also a multiplayer side. And I will get to that in a minute, like a versus multiplayer. But for the campaign, it's incredibly well done. They created a whole new engine for this game that can handle 500 zombies on screen at once.
And when one of those hordes comes running at you, holy shit.
It really is. It just strikes all the right notes. If you, like I said, I keep comparing it to Left 4 Dead because it's really just the best way to give people the idea of what you're going to be experiencing. And I hate to do that. I try to hold the game on its own merits, but sometimes it's kind of hard to describe what happens and people have played Left 4 Dead, so it's easy to be like, well, it's just like that.
Yeah.
But if you played Left 4 Dead, you know that you had a fairly linear storyline, and you moved throughout the campaign in chapters or episodes, and that there was it was kind of based on music, in that you had like a bridge, the bridge and the crescendo and a chorus kind of gameplay style. And they tried to emulate that again with World War Z. And in some aspects, they did a really good job. Like when you hit those crescendos and you're setting up and you know that one of those huge ass hordes is coming for you, that is like your throat gets tight, you break out in a sweat, and you know shit's about to go down.
Oh, yeah.
The aspects in between, though, the moments of going from A to B, they're very dull. And I was kind of surprised. Again, compare it to Left 4 Dead. I'm sorry, but if you,
it's inevitable. It really is.
It really is, because they're so similar, and people are looking to this to be the Left 4 Dead that we have for this generation. And it's a shame that the camaraderie and stuff that we saw between the characters in Left 4 Dead isn't there. In Left 4 Dead 2, the very opening sequence, one of the characters says, "Kill all sons of bitches, that's my official instructions."
Mm-hmm.
After he reads off the big emergency preparedness instructions. And that has stuck with me ever since. And I giggle about it, and I say it all the fucking time, even when I'm playing different games. And there's nothing like that in World War Z to give you that kind of just callback,
Yeah.
The dialogue is very mundane. It's usually just restricted to call out, but here they come, and I need med packs or whatever. There's nothing like in Left 4 Dead where you still, I think I even said it when we were playing. I went, "Pills here."
Yeah.
Because the character doesn't fucking do it for me. And you miss that kind of dialogue and callback, especially because there are 16 characters in World War Z, and they all have these incredible backstories. You have to complete a campaign with a character to get their backstory, but they all have these just incredible, well illustrated video backstories. There's a little bio for everybody. And it would be nice if some of that personality shined when you were playing with that character. Instead, they're just kind of lifeless hulls, and it's a little sad. Something that tickles me, though, if you drop a character, if you die to the zombies, while you're waiting to respawn, you actually see your character stand up and become a zombie.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Them go and you can have to kill your character again, kill yourself later, if they come and attack you or something. That carries over into multiplayer as well, and it's just so cool to watch that. A little traumatizing. Nobody wants to be the zombie. That's why we always have the save one bullet trope. So it's really kind of cool and a little off to see yourself come back and chase down your friends. But I played the multiplayer side, and while I would say that the gameplay in campaign is fantastic and it has its lulls, but it certainly fills a void, the multiplayer is disappointing. And I was so sad about it. So it's actually really fleshed out. There's several different game modes you can play. I think there were 5 different game modes. I spent most of my time playing Swarm Domination. But my whole experience was just super laggy. You could just watch the other players, and they were just moving in clunky, janky kind of ways, and then they'd rubber band back, and then they'd shoot ahead, and it was just very poor connection. I was surprised I was able to find people to play with so easily, because again, I say it every time it comes up to a multiplayer game. I play at crazy weird ass hours. I play super early Eastern time, and so but I didn't have any trouble getting full lobbies every time I played.
That's good.
I mean, there were plenty of people, and there were people from all different ranges of skill, because you do have a progression system and you do earn in-game currency and you can unlock stuff in a skill tree and make your characters better, and also make your weapons and your classes more effective. But the connection, like it was problematic, especially when you're playing something like Swarm Domination, where you have the zombies coming at you and then you've got the other players that you're trying to deal with too.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I can dispatch the zombies, but a character might rubber band in front of me, and then I'm an actual player, and then you're dead because of the lag. However, they really put some thought into the way that you play and the way the zombies interact. Like, you're not just going to go out there and start blasting down every other player that you see, because the zombies are going to throw into effect. They're attracted by the sound, and it will actually warn you, hey, you're making too much noise in this area. You're going to draw a swarm. Mm-hmm. And you can actually use that to your advantage. Say you're holding down control point A and C, and you know your team or the other team is spawning at B, start lobbing grenades over there and start making a bunch of racket over there. Run by, even if there's no other players, run by shooting your gun. Eventually you're going to draw a swarm, and that other team's going to spawn, and they're going to get fucked.
That's awesome.
It's really a great way. Like, it just throws in a whole new dynamic to playing something like that, and having almost like an, excuse me, sir. The cat just walked under my microphone. I didn't even know he was in here.
Surprise.
Not even well, it's my cat, but it's not my cat. It's number one's. He usually doesn't have much to do with me, but it just really threw in a whole new dynamic. Now, it was a little harder when you're playing with randoms to like get them to pay attention, because they just want to run out and shoot everybody.
Yeah. And
it's like, no, dumbasses, pay attention. Use the swarm to your advantage. But I will say, I won every game I played.
Wow.
And I was having a good time. Besides the lagginess, it was a lot of fun. It's a really unique way to play multiplayer. I just really wish they'd smooth out those servers a little bit, because the lag was a pain in the ass.
Damn.
But I had a really good time playing this game. I knew I was gonna like playing it because I loved Left 4 Dead. Left 4 Dead's one of my favorite games ever. It's everybody's favorite game ever. I just was disappointed by certain aspects. Like, I had a good time, but there were still parts of me that was like, it just needs a little something here and there.
No. Well, overall, $40 on it. What do you say?
I do give it a buy it. I really do. Like, I've been trying to convince Studa to get it to play it with me. That's how much I'm interested in saying buy it. It has its kinks that need worked out. And it's not a perfect successor for Left 4 Dead. It certainly isn't Left 4 Dead 3. But it does fill the void. It fills that little bit of a hole. And you know what? Maybe the characters don't say pills here or whatever. You can say it for yourself. It's fine.
All right. Well, next game to talk about is called My Time at Portia, developed by Pathia Games, published by Team 17, released April 16th on Xbox One, PS4, and Switch for $29.99. Start a new life in the enchanting town of Portia. Restore your pa's neglected workshop to its former glory by fulfilling commissions, growing crops, raising animals, and befriending the quirky inhabitants of this charming post-apocalyptic land. Cole, tell us about My Time at Portia.
I'm going to tell you that we have to re-record that intro because you said it wrong.
Did I?
Yeah, it's My Time at Portia.
Portia?
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
Really, a lot of people have been, like, everybody I've heard pronounce it goes, My Time at Portia. And they're like, no, it's Portia.
Well, damn.
Which is okay because I did it too, like the whole time I was playing it. And it makes sense in how we, read English.
Yeah. But Portia, My Time at Portia.
That's why I'm not going to say it anymore, because I know I'm going to fuck up and say it wrong. So I had an absolute blast with this game. If you've if you're a fan of anything like Stardew Valley, I've heard people compare it to Animal Crossing. I haven't played Animal Crossing, so I can't do that. It's really well done. I think this might be the most adorable apocalypse I've ever seen. And
yeah, it's a pretty beautiful game.
You start with it and you have no idea it's post-apocalyptic, and it just takes a few hints to really figure out what's happened. At some point, shit hit the fan, and before you know it, you're like in abandoned ruins, and you're digging up talker pieces, which are like phones, and there are data disks that you can mine up, and I love that they broke apart the religion and the science in the world. And so you have to decide how you're going to spend your data disks. And are you going to give them to the research center so that they can come up with new build plans for you? Or are you going to give them to the church who will give you farming stuff?
Oh, decisions.
And I mean, realistically, you can farm up enough to do both, you know? But that depends on how much time you want to spend in the mines. Excuse me, they don't call them mines, they call them the ruins. Wrong term there. And even better yet, you don't have to do either one of those things if you don't want to. The whole premise is that you've been left a workshop by your absentee father. And he's left a workshop that is completely dilapidated. Like, you can't even sleep the first couple of nights until you get enough wood to fix all the holes in the house.
Nice.
And it's important that you sleep in the game, because that's how you save. At the end of every day, you have until like 3 a.m. and if you don't, then you pass out wherever you are. You lose some of your shit. You wake up at home. Very Stardew Valley-ish.
Yeah, I found out the hard way that you have to sleep to save, because I was playing and I spent, I don't know, how long are the days? A good half hour or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I spent a good half hour playing, and I decided I fucked something up, and I was just going to take some time off and come back later. And I went to quit out, and I didn't realize that it pops up a warning that says it popped up a warning. So this isn't a fault with the game. This is a fault with me. It popped up a warning saying that it only saves when you sleep, but I was just click happy, and I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. I'm confirming. I'm going back to the menu. And I didn't realize that I had just lost the entire day's progress.
Yeah. And that can be a lot. You can do a lot in a day.
You can. So make sure you sleep.
I did take advantage of that, though. I had one issue where I did it so many times, and it was always with the character Antoine. I don't know why it didn't do it with anybody else, but whatever was in my first slot of my hotbar, which is where I keep my pickaxe, if I wasn't careful and I got click happy trying to chat with Antoine, I'd fuck around and give him my pickaxe. And it was only him I had it happen with, and I couldn't replicate it anywhere else. But I was having to take advantage, because at one point, like, oh, I've built an iron pickaxe, and that takes a shit ton of materials and stuff. And then I fucked up and gave it to Antoine. And I was like, well, there goes my whole day, because I'm getting that pickaxe back. Close the fuck up out of here, launch it again, do over. That was just too many materials to give away to Antoine. Sorry, Antoine. The town in Portia is absolutely alive. I just spoke about Antoine, but there are so many characters that you can interact with. They all have different stories. They will send you on quests. They will give you commissions. They'll want you to build things for them. I will say that you have the whole relationship aspect. Again, like in Stardew Valley, you can romance somebody, you can get married, you can have children, you can get divorced, you can run the whole gamut. Do it again. But part of that is the relationships is obviously you have to talk to them every day.
Yeah.
And they have very, very limited dialogue. You get one quote from somebody every day, and you will probably get the same quote 5 or 6 days in a row. They rarely have something extra to talk about. And so it can be a bit of a pain in the ass. Like, yeah, I know. I've heard that. That may have also been part of my problem with accidentally gifting shit.
Just trying to click through.
Just trying to get away from the damn chat messages that I had already read for the last 2 weeks. But at least, there are plenty of different characters. So unless you're going back to the same character continuously, like trying to woo them, then and you're better off just trying to woo them with gifts and look up a wiki and look for what they like and make it easier on yourself. Don't play this game without a wiki is what I'm trying to say. There's a good one. Make use of it. Otherwise, you'll be like me and like waste a whole week playing the game and have absolutely nothing to show for it. Like I didn't realize I had to go into different types of mines to find ruins to find different items, or that there were secret rooms in them. And I'm sitting here going, I'm not getting anywhere with some of this shit, and I don't understand why. Like, why can't I get enough money? No, just make a bunch of stools and sell them and be done with it, and then you're rich. Carry on. Nice. I was so focused on like trying to advance myself that I was focusing on the wrong things, because I was trying to get to a specific goal when it should have been like goal Z, and I was at goal B. I needed to build myself up. And it doesn't really explain. It's like, okay, build this commission, and it will give you commissions that you are in no way prepared to do, and you only have so much time. So you have to really pay attention and look at what the options are and choose for yourself, because it will let you fail shit. And if you fail something, I think what's interesting is because you're not the only workshop in the game, then there's other ones that will come in and swoop up commissions that you don't take. So things will still get done even if you're not the one that does it. And that can change the way you experience the story. There was a transport system I didn't do in time, for example. And so the other rival workshop did it instead. And I lost out on that money because I was stupid and was trying to do shit I wasn't ready to do yet.
Yeah.
There goes another cat. I'm going to cross my keyboard. Dude, please. We just did, like, where have you even been for the last 2 hours?
And just an episode of interruptions.
Yeah, like I was fine all this time, and like my kids are at school, everything's gravy. Nope, there comes cats. It's like my review screen just has a whole line of K's going across it because it's up on the keyboard.
Nice.
But it's easy to get lost in what you're trying to do, and because other workshops come in and like swoop in, it makes up for it. So at least you don't miss out on things that you could experience just because you fail. Now, all of that is the good. I do have one major complaint.
What is it?
The combat is awful. It's literally just press X and they'll do a couple of punches and a kick, and that's fine. That's 100% fine. There's a million different weapons. At one point, I was running around with a dagger. It looked like I had a kitchen knife in my hands all the time, just ready to stab everything. There's even tennis rackets. All of them have different effects. Like some will boost your stamina, some have more hit points, whatever. Some give you extra endurance points so you can do the dodge roll. But that's literally it for combat: is attack, dodge roll, sprint. And
yeah, that's kind of shallow.
Yeah, and there's a lot of instances where I found myself in combat situations. Dude, that's my chair. Please stop. No, chill that cat. Found myself in combat situations where I was going against characters who were double of my level. And because the combat is so mediocre, like you could cheese it. And I was just taking them down without even taking a hit.
Yeah.
But if you do take it, this is where it gets me. The reason I was able to do that is because basically the enemies will just stand there. They might run away a little bit, but then they just stop. And while you're laying into them, they just stand there. They don't try to counter. There's no evasion. They just stand there and take your hits. They will eventually start to hit back. So like the worst you have to do is time it to where you like hit them 6 or 9 times and then run away. The problem is that when they hit you, you just stand there and take it.
Yeah.
You can't counter it. There's no effective means of doing anything about it. The best you can hope for is take 1 or 2 hits before you combat roll away. So it really is just run up, smash them, run the fuck away. And that's that.
Aside from that, though, overall, $30, what do you say?
Aside from that, I give it a buy it. This was my favorite game this week.
Oh, I didn't even have to wait till the end to ask you.
No, I loved this. I spent so much time in this and did absolutely nothing. Like you could just explore around. There are colorful llamas, and I just wanted to sit in the field and look at the llama until I realized that I could hit the llama. And then I hit the llama, and it gave me colorful wool, and I was like, "Fuck yes, death to all llamas." Eventually, you can trap them and set up a farm and stuff, and that's great. But I was just
you just wanted to murder him.
I did. There's also Mr. Ladybug, and you can murder him, and I just feel better about myself killing those fucking ladybugs.
Nice. Well, next game to talk about is called Deathmark, developed by Experience, published by Axis Games, released April 4th on Steam for $49.99. A strange rumor is spreading through the shadows of Tokyo's H-City. A mysterious disfigurement has been appearing on the bodies of certain individuals. Anyone who receives the mark will rapidly die of unknown horrifying causes. The countdown to death has already begun. Dark Mika checked this one out, wrote in a review. Here's what she's got to say. Deathmark is an adventure visual novel mixed with some first-person point-and-click mechanics. You are some poor schmuck who doesn't know who he is or really much of anything else. You can barely tell your ass from your elbow. But you're walking down a street, now suddenly in front of a giant mansion. Wait, what? Yeah, it's a great time to be alive. I don't know what she's getting at. We get to be just as confused as the character. It's fantastic. Okay, so I guess it's important for us to be confused. Anyway, you have the mark Ooh Spooky, which looks like a tribalized dog bite tattoo. Oh yeah, it's the mark of death. Oh great, I've started the game, I'm about to fucking die. Well, that was quick. Oh no, you get the chance to help yourself. But to do so means you must beat mysterious evil spirits that hate humanity without them outright killing you. Well, that seems, I'd say, fair if that wasn't bullshit. Enjoy your adventure of trying to survive till the following morning. Oh, and it's the middle of the night. Have fun trying to save your memoryless ass in a few hours. Yeah, you are fucked, mate. The game has varying degrees of difficulty. Most of the puzzles in the game are pretty simple and straightforward, as this is real life we're talking about. What do you think a found key in a hotel labeled 502 opens? Well, in some games, maybe the car down the road. In this one, it's voila, room 502 in the hotel, because that makes sense. Thank God. Well, Buddha. Maybe Inzangi. What the hell, Dark Mika? Meh, whatever, these puzzles are nice and fairly simple. Something stuck down a drain, fish it the fuck out with a bent metal hanger. See something in a tree sparkle, climb the bitch and get it. Nice, easy, simple, common sense. I like these ones, they make me happy. I don't have to think of absurd bullshit to get through it. It's nice, calm, relaxing, and then gets dashed upon the rocks by boss fights. Oh yeah, you heard me right. Boss fights. This game's got it all and in fucking spades. Boss fights, you find all the objects you need before you're allowed to fight them, so you always have everything you need. At that point, everything in your inventory, including memos about the spirit in question, will tell you how to save it, and if you so fancy, how to kill the fucker deader than dead, since it's apparently a thing. These are their own little mini puzzles, more or less. Some of it obvious, some you might need a PhD for, and what I haven't the foggiest. Every fight involves a number of rounds. During them, you have to choose actions that make sense based on the knowledge you have, or a walkthrough tells you to do because you don't have a PhD. Yeah, that works too. Really well, I might add. I found that saving the spirits by quelling their hatred was usually easier to understand and do than killing them, but not all of them are easy to get either way. The fights are cool, fun, but they don't always make a lot of sense, and that's kind of a problem. There's some quick time events too. They involve answering something before you lose your spirit power. This sometimes happens numerous times in a row, and your spirit power just keeps getting lower and lower. When it hits 0, you can't answer, and then you're dead, but not deader than dead. In this, anytime you die, you can go back to the start of a set of questions or a boss fight to redo them, so you get to die as many times as you like before you cry in a corner, so go and enjoy that. The story was fantastic. It's not particularly long, though. About 10 hours of playthrough, you might want to do 2 of them. Each fight has an option to save the spirit and effectively help them pass on, or kill the spirit deader than dead. If you save them all, you get the good ending. If you kill them all deader than dead, you get the normal ending. I haven't gotten that one yet, but I assume it's bad and that sucks. That's usually the case if you're a good and normal, because the opposite of good is not normal. It's shitty and bad. We know this, so if you're looking about 20 hours in total for $50 though, 20 hours, that's kind of a hard pill to swallow. If it was 25 or 30, I'd be all for go get it right now, but at $50, I'm going to have to say get it on a sale, because it's worth playing, but I'm also a cheap bitch, so I guess I'll let you decide.
Nailed it.
Good. All right, next game to talk about is called Trooberbrook, developed by BTF, published by Head Up Games, released April 17th on Xbox One, Switch, and PS4 for $29.99. Enjoy an adventurous vacation in 1960s parallel universe, a sci-fi mystery adventure game with a handmade scenery. Cole, tell us about Trooberbrook.
Trooberbrook is the kind of game that you list off to prove somebody wrong when they say games aren't art. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So the developers have a history of building miniatures, and they used that history and their experience in building miniatures to create miniature sets for this game, and then used photogrammetry to photograph and convert those into the scenes we see in the game. And it is absolutely visually stunning.
Nice.
It is
I hate to cut you off, but Awesome Prime dropped some biddies, and I'm legally obligated to. I gotta increase the volume here. Let me do it again.
Dropping bits!
There we go. My legal requirement has been fulfilled, so proceed.
Fantastic. So they've used that experience. They've created a game that's absolutely stunning to look at. You feel like you're actually in this world. The characters are very stylized, but everything is just beautifully rendered, and the lighting is just incredible. Even in the very first scene in the prologue, when the character Gretchen is at a gas station, and just the way there's bugs floating around the neon lights. The bugs that are closer to the neon lights are actually like glowing kind of the pinkish purple like the light, while the ones all in other areas are more of like the warmish yellow kind of tone. Just that kind of attention to detail really draws you into this game. For the actual story, we have one of those quirky narrative adventures. It is set in a parallel universe in a tiny rural town in Germany. There was one little quirk that I thought was kind of funny. The main character that you play as, his name is Hans, but he's supposed to be an American student. He's got a very German name. Despite
just
supposed
a little
to be a American. So it's a little funny. He's got a German name. He's got a German accent. There are some problems with the dubbing, the voice acting. For the most part, it's solid acting, but there are kind of times where you can tell like the characters, they either straight up mispronounce things or they use things with the wrong syntax. And sometimes you can kind of tell they're not really sure what the words they're saying mean. It's kind of just a quirk, and it kind of just stood out to me. But everything else is so weird in this game. You're just like, whatever. It's just another thing to throw onto the pile of odd. And I keep saying weird and odd. It's not in a negative way. The first thing that kind of come to mind for me as to compare the story to would be Oxenfree or Night in the Woods. It's just one of those, like, it seems like it should be normal, but things go off the rails very quickly. And it's an interesting storytelling mechanic, but it's also very niche, and not everybody is going to be into that. It gets weird. It is a point and click style of gameplay. You do have a cursor on the screen. This is one of my other minor complaints. I prefer for there to be sensitivity settings when you have a game with a cursor.
Oh, yeah.
And that just falls back to pushing controllers are hard for my hands. And so there isn't any sensitivity settings. So it does use like a snap effect where you get the cursor close enough to something, then it highlights that item and kind of snaps to it.
No, that's good at least.
It does help, but there are some items, especially when you're looking for like tools and things that you're going to need to progress the story. They're either super tiny or they're super tiny and so close to other items that it can be kind of hard to latch onto it. You'll just end up clicking everything else in it. And like if I had better sensitivity, wouldn't be an issue. Yeah. There is a neat way that it handles the point and click aspect, though. It's not like you don't just hover over something and then press A and then it does whatever it needs to do with it. You have to hover over it, press A once to click it, and then you use your D-pad to select from a wheel on the left-hand side of the screen how you're going to interact with that item. So you can just look at it, or you can, if it's a person, you can speak to them by pressing left on the D-pad, or right to actually interact with it, or you can press down, which if it's a tool, you can use a tool with it or something. It takes a little getting used to because there's not anything in the way of a tutorial. It just throws you in. And the first scene, like I spent entirely too long on it just because I couldn't figure out how to interact with the things and even tell what parts were supposed to be the puzzle because you could interact with so much.
Yeah.
Once I got the hang of it and I was like, okay, no, now I can see what are the puzzles, what are the solutions to the puzzles. It's a little more cut and dry the further you get into the game.
That's good.
So it just takes a little adjusting because there's not anything saying, hey, dummy, click this. But it is a niche and interesting type of game that I'm afraid isn't going to appeal to a lot of people. It's very well made, though. Like, I didn't have any kind of problems beyond having difficulty clicking on certain things.
Yeah.
Everything played well. I had a good time with it. I do think that it's funny because there's certainly an adult object that you'll encounter in the game. And so there's actually a setting in the menu for kids mode that replaces that item.
Nice.
So I think it's great that they thought of that. There's some other issues as well that kids mode takes over, but that's my favorite because it's an adult item and you're just like, eh!
What does it get changed to?
I don't know because I didn't click it. Oh. I left it the adult item. So I don't know. I'm a big kid. I can handle it. Also, I was only playing when the kids are at school, so nice. I didn't have to worry about it.
I like how you just refer to it as an adult item after all the other shit you say on this show.
It's a sex toy. A glass dildo, no less.
Oh, my Lord. Glass.
Yeah. It's funny because it's not actually dick-shaped, but if you're familiar with phallic objects, you're like, oh, yeah, I know what that is.
Oh, Lord. Well, overall, $30 on Trooper Rook. What do you say?
I give it a try it. And I think if you're into games like Oxenfree and Night in the Woods and you like that kind of quirky narrative, you're going to want to go ahead and buy it. You don't want to miss it. But if you're a little more hesitant to like play a point and click narrative, yeah, I say try it and try something new because it's definitely well done.
Awesome. Sounds good.
And it's gorgeous.
It did look really good.
Gorgeous. Next.
All right. Next game to talk about is called Revenant Saga, developed by EXE-Create, published by Kemco, released April 17th on Xbox One and Windows 10 for $14.99. After being turned into an immortal being known as a revenant and learning of the existence of a demon within him, Albert sets out on a journey to make the person who did to this pay with their very life. However, as he runs into others along the way dealing with their own figurative demons, what is the answer he finds? Well, if I told you that, that would kind of ruin the ending, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So I can't tell you that.
No.
This is the newest retro-style RPG from Kemco and EXE-Create. This one, instead of being more on the Super Nintendo era style of or side of things, is more on the PlayStation 1 era side of things. Everything looks good, crisp, clean, but it's very much a game designed to look like a PS1 era RPG. The overworld and the town scenes and dungeons are all done in a 32-bit style sprites, which look great. Top-down, classic RPG mechanics. Looks really good. The battles are done in low poly, 3D, kind of like the early Final Fantasy games, where everything's kind of extra blocky. And like I said, everything's crisp and clean. Everything's HDified, but it very much looks like an early PS1 game intentionally. Like, it's not that it's an ugly game. It looks good. It's just very much of an older style that they're trying to emulate.
Which Kemco does a very good job with.
They do. They do a really good job.
They really mix and match and use a lot of different classic styles. They don't stick to just one.
Yeah. But anyway, the story in the game is you start off in a village. You are Albert, and your friend, their parents are struck with the same disease that killed your family. A plague has gone around just wiping people out. And your friend's family is afflicted with the same plague, and a doctor comes into town, Dr. Moreau, which isn't foreboding at all. He shows up in town and says that he can help you cure the other person. And when you go and you try to figure out what's going on and go to this guy's laboratory to have this experiment run on you, it reveals, haha, he's an evil doctor, and he's just trying to turn you into an evil monster. Because of reasons that you'll find out eventually. Once the experiment starts, something goes awry and you are left half transformed. So you are part demon, part human, and you're kind of struggling with your inner demons, so to say. Haha. And you go off on a journey to destroy this doctor and kill him for what he did to you and what he did to your friend, because you found out that he ended up killing your friend that you were trying to save the whole time. This is all within like the first half hour, so I'm not spoiling anything big. This is just the early story, the prelude to the main story. But you set off on your journey to take out the doctor, and you run into other people on your travels. Esther, who is a Valkyrie in training. The Valkyries are the ones who are able to destroy revenants, which are the demons for good. You run into a person working for the Order who maintains the Valkyries, who seems to have dark secrets of his own. Ooh. And then you run into a little girl named Julia, who has secret reasons as well for wanting to work with you, and secrets of her past as well, which I don't want to give anything away. It's still early in the game, but I just don't want to give any of the details away.
Yeah, it's hard to keep them spoilers at bay, isn't it?
It is, especially in a story-heavy game.
Mm-hmm.
One of the downsides with this game is it is incredibly linear. There's not much room for exploration. All of the dungeons are fairly straightforward. You might find a branching path here or there. There's even times where I was set to go to this one area, but I wanted to explore further down the path to see what would show up. And I ran into nothing at all. Afterwards, after I finished the dungeon and I was told to move on to the next town, where I had been before, a town magically appeared. Huh. So it very much, it corrals you in a straight line pretty much the entire time. Battle system is really cool. They have an overdrive, or not an overdrive, but like a transformation, because all the characters have a more powered up revenant form, or whatever they call them. there's so many different terms in these games that I lose track of everything, but you can transform into a more powerful being. The more you do it, the higher a gauge goes, and the higher the gauge goes determines whether or not your character is controllable. Like at the lower levels, nothing will, everything will be fine. As it gets higher and higher, your character will start acting and doing actions on their own. Oh. So you can't overuse that ability unless, there are ways to reduce that gauge, but for the most part, you want to use it sparingly or unless you like living on the edge and you like having your characters go berserk, whatever makes you happy. It has the weapon enhancing system that we've seen in previous Kemco games. It has the special store that we've seen in previous Kemco games where you earn a special bonus currency that you could use to get sometimes overpowered items like experience rings, where every step you take on the world map gives you experience, helps leveling characters up much easier. Overall, the story is enjoyable. It keeps you going from point to point. I wish the game had a little more room for exploration. The battle system is quick. It works well. They have the auto battle if you just want to go that way. There's 3 difficulty levels, so players of all RPG expertise can easily get into the game. And for $15, you get it on Xbox One and Windows 10. And it's an RPG, so I'm giving it a buy it.
Nice.
Because we need more RPGs on Xbox One.
The Kemco games are usually pretty good.
Yeah,
so
I like
this one
them.
doesn't sound like it was any different. Wasn't disappointing.
It was another solid outing, though.
Nice.
All right, next game to talk about is called Cryofall, developed by Atomic Torch Studio, published by Daedalic Entertainment, released April 3rd on Steam Early Access for $19.99. Cryofall is a sci-fi multiplayer survival game set on a forgotten planet in a distant future. Master technology, trading, crafting, industry, farming, exploration, and more. Cole, tell us about it.
So, like you said, this is an early access game, and it is incredibly ambitious. It is a survival game with sci-fi elements, and it has a multiplayer open world that is you and 199 strangers in your world. And
that's a lot.
That's a lot. That's fucking crazy is what that is. Unfortunately, because everything is currently PvP, that leads to a lot of griefing, and you will very quickly find beefed up players who just want to pick on little guys. And that's to be expected. You'll start the game, like every other survival game ever, and that you're in the middle of nowhere and you got to start picking up rocks and plants and sticks and plant fibers and make rudimentary tools until you get to the point where you're making machine guns. It's really, I don't want to say it's basic, but to start off with, it is kind of just like every survival PvP that you play. Yeah. It has a retro inspired art style. It reminded me a lot of Graveyard Keeper. The whole time I was playing, I was like, looks so much like Graveyard Keeper, just without the zombies.
Yeah.
It is sorry, I was reading where Ian said that that after it launched in DEA, and I was about to touch on that, but the devs have announced that they are working on PvE. It is in early access. They do plan on updating this game every month at minimum for the next year. And then they are planning PvE. They're also working on some different anti-griefing measures, because griefing is going to be the biggest issue you're going to run into here.
Yeah.
So they are working on some different griefing measures to make it to where the big guys can't just push around the little guys immediately. And I will say, it did not take long for me to get in a position where I had people bashing my head in. And so it was really frustrating, and I actually found myself just server hopping, trying to find one that was densely populated so that I would stand a little better of a chance. But it's interesting that, and I didn't get far enough to be in a position because I was getting beat up. Yeah. But the later stages of the game, actually, I already mentioned, you're making assault rifles and things like that. You're your whole goal is to build up a civilization. And so you want to go as far as you want the entire server to succeed enough. I wish people would figure that out so they'd quit bashing my head in. But you want your server to succeed. You want to be able to trade with other players and to create a functioning economy. And all of that is fleshed out and in the game as a viable thing you can do. It's just, I think developers, when they create these PvP only games, they underestimate the willingness of communities to be shitheads.
Yeah, that's the downside of pretty much every online game.
And so at least they're working on that, but that is definitely the first thing that will excuse me, that will happen. And you have to go into it knowing you're going to spend $20 on a game and you may not be able to get anywhere, because people are going to be bashing your head in until that shit gets fixed.
Yeah. Well, as it stands, $20 right now in Steam Early Access. What do you think of it?
I do give it a try. It's really well fleshed out. I had a lot of fun while I was playing it and going through everything. And I like survival games like this. I played the shit out of Ark. I played the shit out of Conan. I like this kind of gameplay, and I thought the whole pixel art perspective was really interesting, unique. The sci-fi elements are cool if you can get to them. Yeah. So just I really want to stick it out and see what the devs do with it and keep up with it, because I do want to see it succeed and do well. And
hopefully those PvE servers come sooner than later.
Yeah, please hurry.
All right, well, final game to talk about tonight is called Whispers of a Machine, developed by Clifftop Games and Fairvid Interactive, published by Raw Fury, released April 17th on Steam for $14.99. Whispers of a Machine is a sci-fi Nordic noir that tells the story of Vera, a cybernetically and augmented detective in a post-AI world who investigates a string of murders and unravels a dark conflict over forbidden technology. Dark Mika previewed this one a couple episodes ago, and now she's here with her full review, and this is what she's got to say.
Wait.
What?
We have a sub.
We have a sub?
We have a sub.
Oh my God, Chris coming in with the sub, dropping subs. Chris, thank you so much for coming in with the sub. Okay. I had the review popped up, so I couldn't see the window.
Yeah, carry on.
Chris, thank you so much for coming in and subbing. I appreciate it so much.
Thank you.
But let's see, what does Dark Mika have to say about Whispers of a Machine? Whispers of a Machine is a point-and-click cyber noir game. You might remember the preview, and shockingly, you still play as a punky, sex-on-a-stick type detective named Vera. You're called into a super low crime rate, podunk fucking middle-of-nowhere town called Fuck If I Know. I can't remember it, and the devs didn't write it on its Steam page, so it's not important. Fuck it. You're called in about a murder, and the day you arrive, there was another murder that happened earlier the same day. Well, fuck, guess there goes the City of the Week card for this place. Life is about to get worse for the residents of this town. For some of them, significantly worse. For the rest, not much change, actually. Guess I should have said, get worse for some of the residents of this little town. Oh well, shitty life by association, maybe? I don't know. Vera and many other cops, it seems, have these nifty biocybernetic implants formed from a mostly not understood goo named Blue after its color, because you know kids just inject random goop you find on the ground into your veins, right? However, I guess the first man who sucked on the teat of a cow was seen as just as stupid, so lesson to learn here, people. History is made by stupid people, though the band Arrogant Worms can explain that shit better than I can. I have never heard of the band Arrogant Worms. Have you?
No, that's a new one to me.
New one to me as well. Anyway, this blue shit, it gives you superpowers effectively. However, and this is a key point, what powers you get are based on how you play the game via problem solving and character interactions. Every interaction gives you +1 in one of the following stats and a -1 to the other 2. Empathetic, analytical, and assertive. Assertive means you're kind of a bitch. Empathetic means you're a mommy counselor. Analytical means you're a cop, I guess. Realistically speaking, there's 2 abilities to unlock in each playstyle. However, you're able to obtain 1 ability in 2 different groups. Though it's easier to get 2 assertive abilities than to get 1 asshole and 1 touchy-feely ability. That sounds dirtier than I should have. Mommy daycare ability, yes, that'll work. The abilities are really cool, and not just the cop ones. The ones in every tree are actually pretty nifty. The game takes place over 4, maybe 5 days. I can't remember exactly. Each day you have to solve a specific issue, and you will, I promise. Vera will not sleep till the job is done. Kick-ass work ethic, girl. Good on you. I'd say gone to bed day 1 and not woken the fuck up till like day 20. Fuck that. Solve the murders, get the girl. Wait, no, just solve the murders. Never mind. It's all point and click, and you may remember my Kathy Rain review. Oh my god, you can't just double click on an exit instantly. Well, this doesn't suffer from that annoyance. Granted, in this one, you're trying to catch a mysterious killer by walking about as slow as a snail who's eaten a ton of weed, but you know, all the people are already dead, so it's not like they're going anywhere if more die. Well, there's more evidence, so fuck it, walk on. The puzzles in this one are mostly logical. Most of them are solved with your bio-cybernetic powers after you unlock them, so there's multiple ways to solve each one based on the powers you have, which is nice. However, some of the puzzles require you to suddenly do something that none of the rest require you to do for no reason. For instance, there's a puzzle where you have to figure out a code and you'll find the numbers and it's obvious, but then suddenly you have to flip it over. You'll remember this complaint in the preview. It doesn't make sense, and most of the game you look at something in your inventory that can solve stuff. Though in one puzzle you have to mix an item in your inventory with something on the screen in a way that just doesn't seem necessary, as you'd usually look at the item then just be left able to do what needs to be done. These are only singular instances that weird shit is done, but they make the game much harder because there's no indication you have to do this, and it really bothered me. For $15, it's worth it. You get 5 to 8 hours per each playthrough, and there's 3 distinct personalities and sets bio-cybernetic powers that you can get an easy 15 to 24 hours worth of game, and that's without mixing personalities and powers even. So it sounds like another good one.
Yeah, it does.
Good stuff. All right, well, that is it for the reviews. Anything else you want to talk about before we wrap this one up?
No, I don't think so.
No, nothing?
No. Be
How
not
you feeling?
dead. I didn't puke.
Aww. I was hoping.
I know. I'm sure you were.
I am down off my high. I am back to normal. So I'm feeling all right.
Somewhere about partway through the news, the painkiller I had to take for my headache kicked in. And so I've just been like sitting here trying to keep my head up. I'm so tired.
Dark Mika wants us to talk about the fact that she's actually in chat.
I'm very proud of her.
She actually made one of these. Hooray!
Yeah, I'm very proud, especially given this hour, because she should be asleep. Because chances are good she stayed up all night. I read your Twitter. I know what you're doing.
And then Super Henry Jones showing up right at the end of the show. Perfect timing.
Nailed it.
Amazing timing. So I guess, do you have any final words to wrap this up?
Oh, fuck no.